One of the most annoying tropes in storytelling is plot-induced stupidity. One minute you can have a being capable of destroying the entire universe, and the next, that being gets destroyed by a teenage boxer. Hello YouTube and welcome to Game for Thought. Today we're going to determine whether Galeem is stupid. Now, I very blatantly primed that intro to make it sound like Galeem does in fact suffer from plot-induced stupidity, but it's not quite that simple. Before we get to that though, it's important to recall a few things. If you haven't seen my previous video, perhaps go check it out, because I will be building off of it. However, the important takeaways for this video are that 1. Smash Bros takes place in the mind of a person, who I'm going to continue calling Bob. 2. The World of Light is the story of Bob reconciling his, moodier feelings towards his imagination, those being a newfound reverence for the official canon of gaming, represented by Galeem, and his hatred towards his own imagination, represented by Darkon. Now that that's been established, it's time to actually get around to answering the question, is Galeem stupid? Well, Galeem makes it painfully clear that it is at galaxy-busting levels of power, immediately destroying the entire galaxy and recreating it in his own image. However, we never see this power again. That is, not until the light ending, when Galeem once again unleashes its full power to take down Darkon and, once again, swamps the universe with light. However, there's no explanation for why Galeem doesn't use any of this universe-swiping power to take down the Smash characters when they start showing up. After all, it certainly acknowledges their presence, imbuing bosses with power to protect it. So, is this plot-induced stupidity? Well, so far the answer appears to be yes. However, with the power of over-analysis and inserting my own symbolism, there's a whole video to be made about why Galeem isn't. The first thing we need to look at is how Galeem's universe-busting attack works, to determine whether it was plot-induced stupidity that stopped it from using the attack again. There's actually two things that happen. The first is that Galeem's army of Master Hands turn into the beams of light that destroy everyone, or rather, transport them to that shadowy area where they're being cloned. After the fighters are gone, Galeem swamps the rest of the galaxy with its light, taking everyone with it and turning them into spirits. So the first attack requires the army of Master Hands, but those were consumed when they were turned into the beams. So that can't happen again, right? Oh. And, well, it isn't immediately clear if there are any criteria for when and how Galeem can swamp the universe, the second part of its attack. Enter Darkon. Well, Darkon actually enters a good deal of time after this scene, but my theatrical line still stands. Anyway, the most important thing to remember about this entire story is that it takes place in the imagination of Bob. This means that things can get abstract. At this sort of abstract level, things become a lot more symbolic, much like an ink blot test. You've already seen a bit of this, with Galeem and Darkon being personifications of canon and headcanon respectively. Their war is also symbolic, representing their struggle to influence Bob's mind more than the other. As they gain more influence, they become more powerful, and they're able to do things like recreate the universe in their own image. Yeah, Galeem has total control over Bob's imagination at the start of the World of Light. The two bad endings reflect this struggle for power, with either Galeem or Darkon gaining control over Bob's mind if you defeat the other, when that other one is no longer present to act as a sort of counterweight. I'll get to the true ending in a moment. So why doesn't Galeem fire off its laser beams again? I'm going to assume that it's unable to do so, because it definitely tries to defend itself throughout the story once it notices your presence, although there is the possibility that it doesn't think it even needs to unleash its full power until it's too late, relying mostly on proxies at the start of the story. I would guess it's actually a bit of both of these possibilities. But what exactly causes it to lose power over Bob's mind? After all, Darkon, the only entity that could possibly rival it in power, isn't even present until you weaken Galeem. The answer lies in the toys. They don't have much power individually, but you quickly amass an army of them. And, well, everyone knows how much more powerful the fighters are when they're equipped with spirits. In all seriousness, the toys, when united, have the power to influence Bob just as much as the official canon, or even his own headcanon. This is reflected in the true ending, where the spirits converge into one point, perhaps even becoming one giant entity comprised of spirits, reflecting how their influence is derived from the sum of all the toys. The toys as a whole have as much power as Galeem and Darkon, which explains why they aren't utterly demolished for a second time, even though there's two extremely powerful entities in play. They aren't demolished because they also attain that same level of power. But there's still the underlying question, is Galeem stupid? And after analyzing this as much as I did, I'm confident when I say the answer is no. Rather, Galeem is unable to unleash its power again due to the emergence of two new players, Darkon and the toys, which steal influence and power from Galeem. The respective endings for each entity show the universe being changed to their liking when they attain maximum power. Galeem swamps the universe with light for the second time, once again recreating a canonical world, while Darkon swamps the planet and presumably the rest of the galaxy in darkness, probably leaving nothing behind, while the true ending sees the toys rising into a double helix and eventually converging into a single point of light, which grows brighter until it's the brightest star in the universe, gleaming far brighter than the others. Galeem and Darkon are only able to unleash their full power when the other one is gone, allowing them to maximize their hold on Bob's mind. It's not plot-induced stupidity that prevents Galeem from wiping out the universe a second time, but rather it's the toys, as they take back their world and stories from the influence of Galeem. And with that, thanks for watching. If you liked this video, then why not click on that like button? While you're at it, leave your thoughts on this theory down below in the comments. Am I just reading too deeply into this? Or do you think this theory might actually hold some water? Perhaps even let me know if there's a theory you want me to check out, and subscribe if you like this type of content. My next video will be about what the spirits represent, although I might be putting out a guide on how to get rid of a certain Umbran menace before then. Anyways, have a good day, and with that, game for thought out.
Dreadful.